Let's move on to next event in the timeline. You said that were several videos made on your phone.
Yes.
Do you recall if those videos were deleted?
Yes.
Were they saved by your iCloud account?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall where you were sitting at the time I made the video?
I was hog-tied on my bed.
You are witnessing the cross-examination of Alisa Mathewson, formerly Alisa Summers. Alisa's ex-husband, Trevor Summers, is the one asking the questions. Unfortunately, he also stands accused of Alisa's sexual assault and attempted murder, for which this trial is being held. He has successfully requested the court allow him to represent himself. As such, the alleged perpetrator gets to cross-examine the victim. In this clip, he is trying to establish that since he never verbally threatened her to have intercourse, the ensuing sex was consensual.
After those videos were made, is it true that we had sex?
After the several hours of being hog-tied, you untied me and had sex with me a second time.
Do you believe that the videos would be helpful to you?
Yes, they would be helpful to me.
Do you believe they're helpful to me?
No.
Okay. Well, if you say we had sex before the videos, then let's talk about sex. You simply call it sex in your statements, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did I threaten you to have sex?
You broke into my home in the middle of the night when I was sleeping, attacked me and tied me up. I take that as, yes, you threatened me to have sex with you. Yes.
I'm asking you specifically, before we had sex, did I threaten you or force you to have sex with me?
My answer is yes, you forced me to have sex with you.
Did I hold you down?
No.
Did I push you?
Not at that time of having sex, but prior to having sex, you did push me, you did hold me down, you did tie me up, you did attack me, and you did break into my home when I was sleeping. You raped me.
It has been said that no matter how long or intimately you know someone, you can never fully know them. It is a question that has vexed many philosophers, academics, theologians, and poets for countless generations. There will always be some personal remorse or hidden desire you are unaware of. For starters, we are limited by our own sense of understanding. Also, people show us a side of themselves they wish us to see. This is why we desire open communication. But what if the person with whom you are most intimate, in an effort to be open, reveals a deep truth that makes you uncomfortable? What if you wake up one morning to realize you don't know your partner at all? Alisa and Trevor Summers were married in Philadelphia in 2001. They were people of the Christian faith who had built a life together and had deep roots in the local church community. They had 5 children, ages 3 to 14, and, although the first few years appear to be happy and promising, the bloom had gradually fallen off the rose. Husband Trevor had been less than honest in his business dealings and, consequently, struggled with mounting legal and financial difficulties. According to a 2008 federal lawsuit, Trevor filed for bankruptcy 3 times from 2004 to 2006, served probation for minor charges such as bounced checks, and was accused of having more than 20 civil suits filed against him for matters such as breach of contract. Despite his growing legal problems, Alisa stood by his side. She did her best to support him and keep the family together in alignment with their Christian values. Unfortunately for Alisa, Trevor was eventually implicated in a wire fraud and conspiracy scheme in 2011 and was suddenly under federal investigation. According to federal prosecutors, Trevor and a partner devised a scheme based on a company called Straw Ads. Trevor claimed to hold a patent for technology that could print advertising on straws with safe ink. The idea was to advertise on straws that would be handed out for free to local businesses. When pitching this opportunity to investors, Trevor and his associate said they had already spent $1 million on operating expenses. In addition, they claimed to have an agreement to promote Taylor Swift, but it was all a hoax to swindle investors out of at least $345,000, prosecutors said. He faced a civil suit in 2011 and was ordered to pay $4 million to the plaintiff, but that was the good news. The bad news was his indictment in 2015 on criminal charges of wire fraud and conspiracy, a Class C felony punishable by up to 20 years in prison. Alisa wondered how much more she could bear. While Trevor's attorneys fought the legal battle in Pennsylvania, the family relocated to Riverview, Florida. And if that town name sounds familiar, it's where this happened.
The evidence is going to show.
In September 2016, Trevor pleaded guilty to wire fraud in exchange for a reduced sentence of 4 years. He was initially set to be sentenced on December 21st, but that hearing was rescheduled to March 15, 2017. It was then that his personal life began to unravel. On October 16, Alisa decided to move forward with a separation from Trevor. She moved out of the house and took the children with her. However, according to Alisa, Trevor had other ideas and resorted to physical violence to try to regain some form of control. On October 31st, Alisa petitioned the court for an order of protection against Trevor, but it was dismissed 10 days later. Weeks later, she filed for divorce in Florida. In the meantime, Alisa had arranged to meet Trevor at his home in February 2017 to discuss a divorce settlement. This meeting did not go well. Alisa asserted that after Trevor learned she had been dating, he pulled a knife on her and threatened to bind her with duct tape and rope. He held her against her will for several hours. She begged him to release her, and when he finally did, she ran to a local gas station, called 911, and waited for deputies to arrive. Alisa told the deputies what transpired, but no charges were filed due to insufficient evidence. In fact, the deputies mentioned to Alisa they were aware of the Summers custody situation and that she had also filed for an injunction against Trevor on Halloween. Deputies suggested possibly charging her for making a false report. Undaunted, Alisa returned to court on February 21st to file for a new restraining order. This time, a protective order was granted in which Trevor was not to be near Alisa or her home. The following day, Trevor presented to the court to seek a protective order against Alisa. He accused her of falsifying the allegations against him and pushing their 12-year-old son against a corner. His protective order was granted as well. While Alisa was in the process of moving forward with her life, Trevor was being haunted by past decisions and crumbling under the pressure of pending incarceration. So, 4 days before receiving his jail sentence, Trevor came up with a desperate plan. He asked his 14-year-old daughter to leave a window open to her mother's home so he could, quote-unquote, persuade Alisa into reuniting. The daughter, perhaps wishing for a reunion like many children of divorce, willingly complied. But, unfortunately, it was an action she would soon regret. On Saturday, March 11th, Trevor climbed through the window left open by his daughter and entered his estranged wife's home. He approached Alisa as she slept in her bedroom with their youngest children. Alisa, realizing an intruder was in the bedroom, began to scream, "Who's in my room? Who's in my house?" She then heard a voice saying, "Calm down," and she realized the intruder was Trevor. He ordered his eldest daughter to drive all the children to his home in Riverview. Once alone with Alisa, he attacked her, held her down, tied her to bed rails with rope and Christmas lights, and threatened her. With Alisa restrained, Trevor tried to persuade her to run away with him to an island using millions of dollars he had allegedly stored in an offshore account. As she resisted, Trevor held a pillow over her face for several minutes, causing her to lose consciousness. She awoke in a panic and decided it was best to comply with his demands for her own safety. He eventually removed her restraints and they had a conversation. Then they engaged in sexual intercourse under duress, showered, and had some food. By nightfall, Trevor had come to believe Alisa had agreed to run away with him, and they left the house to look for a charter boat that would take them out to sea. However, when Trevor stopped at a Walgreens in South Hillsborough County, Alisa made an escape attempt. This was witnessed by a Walgreens employee who took action and immediately called 911.
Saturday, March 11, 2017, 21:07 and 16 seconds.
Near the Walgreens and Fish Hawk, and some chick just ran out of the dude's car. Looked like her hands were tied. She ran out of the car, she couldn't help me. He just grabbed her and put her back in the car.
What's the address?
It's Walgreens and Fish Hawk. I don't know the address.
What kind of vehicle are they in?
It's a blue SUV. Looks like an Enclave. Can't be sure though.
Is it tied?
It looked like it. Trying to get the license plate. It looks like GLH M32. It's a dark blue SUV. Guy's bald, black shirt, jeans.
Are they still there?
He's falling out right now. Watching what direction he goes. Blue Saturn. It's not a Buick. He's heading out the back. Let me see if he goes into the neighborhood or if he's hold on a second.
Is he going towards the neighborhood right there, or is that just what?
Yeah, he is going into the neighborhood. He turned off the main street. But it looked like it was a blue Saturn. Did you catch that plate at all?
Yes, sir. Did he go to the left or to the right?
It's a one-way street. We're on the corner where it tees off. Give me a second to walk into the intersection.
Okay.
At the corner of Fish Hawk and she dropped her shirt. If you can just walk it back and pack it up.
No, I wouldn't. I would touch it over.
I'll try to keep anyone else from touching it if you can get someone to get here.
Yeah, I get up on the way, so.
We're at the corner of Fish Hawk and Fish Hawk Crossing. He turned into Fish Hawk Ranch somewhere.
There's our branch up there.
Okay.
I have another on the way out there for another call on the same area, so.
Okay. The shirt blanket, let me see what it is, don't touch it. It's just a blanket. That's laying here in the middle of the road. Do you want me to try to keep anyone from getting to it, or do you want me to collect it into a bag without touching it?
I said for now, just let's leave it there and kind of just, make sure no one messes with it until my deputies get there, so.
Okay. I'll hang out front here. Thanks.
I'll see you one.
Bye.
Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies began searching for the couple, last seen in a dark blue Saturn Outlook. On Sunday, March 12th, authorities issued a nationwide warrant for the arrest of Trevor Summers on charges of kidnapping, theft of a motor vehicle, and violation of a domestic violence order. On Monday, March 13th, at approximately 11:30 a.m., police caught a break. A resident saw Alisa's SUV at a resort in Ruskin and called the sheriff's office to report the location. The caller then bravely followed the vehicle for approximately 1 mile until the car was observed pulling into a driveway. When deputies arrived on the scene, Trevor panicked and tried to slash his own neck before he could be arrested. As he placed the blade to his throat, he looked at Alisa and said, "This is what love is. I'm laying my life down for you. You don't deserve this." As the police quickly pulled Alisa out of the car, Trevor tried to slash her wrist in a last-gasp attempt to hurt her. He was apprehended and transported to Tampa General Hospital, where he was treated and booked remotely. Alisa was taken into protective custody. Investigators searched the vehicle and discovered a handwritten confession in which Trevor Summers described cutting his wife's wrist in retaliation for her escape attempt at the Walgreens. Police also found a note written by Trevor that revealed his possible plot, a murder-suicide. The message was addressed to their children, apologizing for ending their mother and father's lives. It read, "So, we have ended it for your sake. We wish you the best in everything you do and will be watching you from heaven." According to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, Trevor Summers' charges were upgraded to include attempted murder in the first degree. In a bond hearing, he was denied bail. The trial began on August 22, 2022, 5 years after Trevor Summers was initially charged. Interestingly, an all-male jury was selected. Some within legal circles believe male jurors are more sympathetic to female defendants. In contrast, they believe female jurors are harsher on female defendants. In any event, Trevor proved to be a complicated defendant. 3 attorneys appointed to represent him asked to leave the case due to disagreements with Trevor. He even petitioned to have one judge recused from the case. Then, he asked the court to represent himself. However, on the morning of jury selection, he came to his senses and changed his mind. He opted for his right to counsel, and the court appointed an attorney to defend him. The state opened its case.
You may proceed.
May it please the court, defense counsel, Mr. Summers, co-counsel. Good morning, good morning, gentlemen. Between March 11th of 2017 and March 13th of 2017, Alisa Summers thought she was living out the last few days of her life. She believed that the defendant, Trevor Summers, was going to kill her. And he didn't attempt one time to kill her during those days. He attempted twice. I'm going to take you back to October 16th, October of 2016, when Alisa Summers decided that she was going to seek a divorce against the defendant. She moved out of the home, got her own home, was working, purchased a car, and was moving on with her life. She was moving away from the marriage that she had been in for the last 16 years with the defendant. And they had 5 children together. The oldest, Arden Summers, being 14 years of age, and the youngest, Cooper, who was 3 years old. Alisa Summers, during that time between October and March, she obtained a restraining order, specifically in February of 2017, just 2.5 weeks before the March incidents occurred. She obtained a restraining order, a protective order, where the defendant knew he was not to be near Alisa Summers or her home. But on March 11th of 2017, he ignored that protective order. The state submits that the evidence will show Trevor Summers entered the bedroom window. He proceeds to enter Alisa Summers' home while she is sleeping in her bedroom with her 5-year-old and 7-year-old. You are going to get to hear from Alisa Summers. You are going to hear what happened in that home the early morning hours of March 11th of 2017. You're going to hear that she woke up to some person she could not see in her dark bedroom. She begins screaming, "Who is here? Who is in my room?" And as soon as she hears the defendant's voice, she knows exactly who it was.
May it please the court. And court reporter, Clerk Bailey, Ms. Johnson, Ms. O'Connor, Mr. Summers, gentlemen of the jury. You are performing a most important civic duty and privilege being here. We need you here. The next 5 days will be transformative to you, both in the legal system to hopefully appreciate what our judicial system is and the freedoms that we enjoy. And also, you're going to leave with a feeling of despair in hearing this very tragic story about a family that fell apart. As you hear, these folks were married for 16 years. These folks had 5 children, ranging from teenagers, 14-year-olds, down to a toddler, 3 years old. 5 children. The marriage was falling apart. The parties were separating. But there was nothing that said that the divorce was acrimonious. Didn't appear that they were fighting over anything. Children, property, assets. And they had been estranged for a while. It is true that there was an injunction against Mr. Summers, but there was also an injunction against Mrs. Summers. Now, we trust in the collective wisdom of the jury, as we discussed on voir dire. And again, you all promise that as we sit here today, Mr. Summers enjoys the presumption of innocence which you give him. The story that Ms. Johnson gave you is a story. It is the state's theory of what happened. A lot of it is true. A lot of it is also verified by Mr. Summers when he makes his statements. But we also have to follow the law.
Does he say anything when he dove into the front driver's seat?
He didn't until he pulled underneath a house on stilts. How
far did he drive from the location near the hooks to this house with stilts that you're describing?
It was probably like 3 blocks. You pull out of Little Harbor Resort, you turn right, you're on the main road, Shell Point Road, and it kind of curves around, and then there's houses that kind of face out to the Gulf, and they have boat docks.
At the location where you were strangled, is that located within Hillsborough County, Florida?
Yes.
So he drives approximately 3 blocks. You said he peeled out of there. Is he driving quickly to this house with stilts?
Yes.
Did you know this person that lived there?
No.
Did he tell you why he was going to this house?
He told me that was the safe house.
Okay. And so what happens when he arrives at this safe house? Are you still in the captain's chair?
I'm tied to the captain's chair.
And what happens next?
He pulls underneath the house, and he moves from the driver's seat over to the passenger seat, so he's sitting catty corner to me, looking back right at me, and he says, "There's an unmarked police car right there." And I didn't believe him at this point.
Could you see the vehicle that he's
I did. It looked like an older Chevy Malibu, and so I didn't believe him. And he began slitting his throat and saying, "This is what love is. I'm laying my life down for you. You don't deserve this."
What did you do when he was doing that?
I was screaming. It was very traumatic, in the blood, and the whole thing was traumatic.
What did he use to cut his neck?
The razor blade.
Was that the same razor blade that was used on your wrist?
Yes.
What's the next thing that, did you tell him to stop doing that, or were you encouraging him to slit his throat?
I said, "Stop, please stop, please."
Did you ever tell him he should commit suicide?
No.
What's the next thing that happened?
With his neck slit and open, he leaned backwards in the seat with a razor blade at me, and he said, "Let me cut those ropes off of you." And I took, because it was just looped on my injured arm, it wasn't tied to it, I was able to pull my arm out of the loop, and I had my hands like this, and I said, "Look, I'm out, you don't have to cut the ropes off." And at this point, law enforcement surrounded the vehicle. My door opened. I was grabbed and taken out.
And did you see what happened with him in the vehicle when law enforcement got you out of the vehicle?
I did not.
What is going through your head when law enforcement pulled you out of that vehicle?
I was in complete shock. I can't believe that I'm alive.
When it came time for Alisa to testify, Trevor suddenly changed course. He again petitioned the court to represent himself, allowing him to cross-examine Alisa. His request was granted. Then, in an awkward moment, he proceeded to take over the cross-examination of Alisa.
Good morning, Ms. Matthewson. I'd like to just
Mr. Summers, your voice is kind of that microphone though. I don't know if it can be readjusted where it can amplify your voice.
Is that better?
I think so.
Okay. Good morning, Ms. Matthewson. I wanted to review the testimony that you gave here today. Excuse me. I'd like to just go through your testimony from the beginning. Starting with the evening of Friday, March 10th, 2017, your statement was that you went to Trevor's neighborhood to pick up the children, Arden, Bryn, and Grady, that evening. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was at approximately what time?
Dinner time.
Was it still light out?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know approximately how far the community center is from Mr. Summers' house?
Within the same community.
Okay. So you came to the same community 3 weeks after the alleged March incident?
Yes.
Okay. Prior to March 10th, 2017, that week, were you sick at all?
Yes.
Objection, Judge. Relevance.
I'm going to allow a little bit of leeway. Let's see where it's going. What's the next question?
Let's go to the evening where I arrived. You've seen the state's evidence in the videos and the photographs as you've attested to them. Do you remember seeing a video on your phone?
Yes.
Do you recall if those videos were deleted?
Yes.
Were they saved by your iCloud account?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall where you were sitting at the time I made the video?
I was hog-tied on my bed.
Did you say anything while those videos were being recorded?
My mouth was not duct taped. I did not have a sock in my mouth. I don't know if I said something.
Okay. Would it surprise you if you heard your voice when those recordings were made?
No, it would not surprise me.
Okay. After those videos were made, is it true that we had sex?
After the several hours of being hogtied, you untied me and had sex with me a second time.
So you're saying the first time we had sex was before the videos were made?
Yes.
So it would not be your testimony that I made the videos before we had sex?
I just answered no.
Okay. So at no point did you offer sex for me to make the video?
No.
Okay. Did you encourage me to make the video?
No.
Did you request I make that video?
I said that nobody will believe this.
So you said that no one will believe this, but then did you ask me to make the videos?
No.
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 You don't believe, do you believe that the videos would be helpful to you?
Yes, they would be helpful to me.
Do you believe they're helpful to me?
No.
Okay. Well, if you say we had sex before the videos, then let's talk about sex. You simply call it sex in your statements, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did I threaten you to have sex?
You broke into my home in the middle of the night when I was sleeping, attacked me and tied me up. I take that as, yes, you threatened me to have sex with you. Yes.
I'm asking you specifically, before we had sex, did I threaten you or force you to have sex with me?
My answer is yes, you forced me to have sex with you.
Did I hold you down?
No.
Did I push you?
Not at that time of having sex, but prior to having sex, you did push me. You did hold me down. You did tie me up. You did attack me, and you did break into my home when I was sleeping. You raped me.
So you're calling it rape?
It is. That is the definition of rape. To come into someone's home and attack them and tie them up and then have sex with them. That is the definition of rape.
Thank you, Deputy Estea. I will review the verdict form and then I will present it to the clerk to be published. Today is the 26th, correct? Yes, it is. So, all right, I am going to present the verdict form to Madam Clerk. Mr. Summers, I'll ask that you please stand for the publishing of the verdict.
Thank you.
State of Florida versus Trevor Summers. Case number 2017 CF 3896. Trial Division 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1. The defendant is guilty of attempted murder in the first degree. And did the defendant personally carry, display, use, threaten, or attempt to use a weapon? Yes.
On August 26, 2022, Trevor Summers was found guilty on all 11 charges. His sentencing is scheduled for October 3rd. In the end, justice was delayed but served. Summers had his parental rights terminated, and Alisa has since remarried. In an interview, she told a local news outlet there were times during the ordeal when she doubted she'd survive, and that faith and prayer kept her from giving up hope. I kept praying, saying, I know you're going to put the right people in the right places at the right time, and this is going to happen to me, said Alisa. That's exactly what happened. I'm so grateful for all the people who saw something and did something. Whether you believe in divine intervention or not, the folks who took action to assist a stranger in jeopardy deserve a special acknowledgement. So, to the Walgreens employee who made it his business to get involved, and to the resident who bravely followed the Summers SUV, please know this. Your actions most likely saved a life. And as far as the Crime Atlas is concerned, you are both heroes.